upset, folks! And I don't just mean the champion's upset stomach! What's up everybody, StevDeS here. With the huge ending of the last part of this What If, I was raring to go with the next part. I knew I had a bunch of other what ifs that I needed to do, so that's why I put it on the back burner for so long. When I came back to this part, I wanted it to mean something. This would have really tested the fatherly side of Bardock with Kakarot and Raditz being on Earth. And a fair warning, this is the product of the prequel of this whole thing, What If Cooler inherited the Frieza forces. Just so you know when I do this recap, why I'm saying Lord Cooler. In the last part, Lord Cooler had sent Vegeta and Nappa to Earth to finish off the traitors Raditz and Bardock for, obvious secession. Following the brutal battle with Vegeta, Raditz and Piccolo were barely alive, Kakarot was just about out of energy from blowing it on the Super Saiyan transformation, and Bardock is dead. Luckily, Raditz and Piccolo are well enough to get Kakarot some help, probably some senzu beans, and make sure that they know to get the Dragon Balls so they can bring Bardock back to life. The Dragon Balls would be used to revive everyone killed by Vegeta and Nappa, including Bardock. As far as the time period, it's important to note that the Raditz saga didn't happen. Therefore, the Saiyan saga didn't happen, and the Namek saga didn't happen. This is one hell of a time skip we are taking into consideration as far as the Dragon Ball canon. And so, let's get to the beginning of the Android saga in What If Bardock Went to Retrieve Goku. Over time, the Saiyans would try to unlock the Super Saiyan transformation they saw Kakarot do. It's one hell of a transformation, and should Lord Cooler come to Earth following Vegeta and Nappa coming to Earth, the Saiyans want to be prepared. However, we need to focus a little bit on what happened to Bardock following his death. You see, he is strong enough to keep his body after death, and wouldn't you know, he would meet Guinea on the other side. He wouldn't get a whole lot of time though, because we've got Raditz, you've got Kakarot, you've got Gohan, and you've got Piccolo, all looking for Dragon Balls to revive the people that were killed. Because of this, Bardock would be a bit separate from people. Something would be going through his mind, clearly. But the thing about it, he would feel really, sorrowful. Not really a pain of loss sort of situation, but more along the lines of wishing that he had more time with his wife. However, it takes the innocence of little Gohan. I know I go to Gohan a lot, but this is a really strong plot point that Toriyama's given us whatevers. But of course, Bardock is opening up thanks to the innocent Gohan. Now keep in mind, even though Gohan's not much of a fighter, he has pushed the 1000 barrier thanks to Chi-Chi wanting him to get some exercise with his family. About his life on planet Vegeta with Guinea and how all of that ended up, it's something that Bardock was finally happy to get off his chest. If I could just have one more day. Well, why didn't you say so? I know someone who can bring spirits to Earth. She did it before, and we had to fight against a bunch of them. You're serious? Sure thing, Dad, and she's not too far away. We should go fly there now. Before the two take off, Chi-Chi stops them. She has to remind them that Raditz kinda wanted them to come to the World Tournament. He wasn't clear on his motive. But if it's a family invitation, it's important that everybody is there for Kakarot's brother. And Raditz was pretty adamant about it to Chi-Chi, which it's right that he's telling Chi-Chi this. So, with Gohan knowing how to fly, he takes his mom to the World Tournament, and Bardock and Kakarot make the visit with Baba really quick. Kakarot and Bardock land at Fortune Teller Baba's place, which then gives Bardock the opportunity to argue his case. And she doesn't mind this. It's just a weak soul, and it's just for Kakarot's dad, so it's not like she doesn't owe Kakarot anything. However, she will need time in order to find the soul that Bardock is requesting, this Guinea woman. There's a lot of souls in Otherworld, so she's gonna need to talk to Yema about this. With that, the short conversation is a short conversation. And they head to the World Tournament grounds just in time to catch Raditz's first bout with a challenger that gets defeated. We're talking about Raditz here. Between fights, they notice Raditz pointing at the family and talking to somebody, trying to arrange something. One of the employees comes up to them and says that their presence has been requested in the back. Raditz, the world champion, wants to see them. When they get there, they see Raditz alongside a pregnant woman. And this pregnant woman seems to be holding his arm nicely, having seen the San family and being able to catch on to Raditz, looking at them, saying, okay, yeah, this must be their family.
Ah, family! It's so good to see all of you. I want to introduce you to my fiancé, Miguel.
Naturally, the Kakarot family is shocked. Raditz got a woman? Well, that's half of them thinking it. The other half is thinking, oh my god, he's gonna be a daddy. Of course, after congratulations and introductions are in order, Bardock does mention to Raditz that they're gonna get a day with his mom. She's going to be able to come to Earth for a day. Raditz is excited about this news because then everyone will be together, even if it is for a day. Little Gohan shouts out that maybe they should have a family reunion, a party with food and maybe some games. I'm sure they could spar a bit if Gine's into sparring, he doesn't know. And Kakarot's all for the idea. So are the other Saiyans. And Miguel is excited to meet Chi-Chi, who's going to be essentially her sister-in-law. Not to mention, the idea of Gine coming introduces Gine to her grandchild and the woman that's going to be giving her another grandchild. It's all going to be a fun day for them, and they want this to happen. After the news is out, it is time for Raditz's final bout. It's time for the final match! On this side, we have the challenger, Hercule Satan, representing the Dojo Satan Castle! And on this side, the reigning world champion who defended West City with his family, Raditz! Fighters, take your positions! Let the finale of the 29th World Martial Arts Tournament begin! The battle would go just about as well as you'd expect, with Raditz just putting a good show on. However, something does happen in the middle of the battle. Raditz starts to clutch his stomach. There's a pain that he never thought he'd feel before. He's obviously eaten something bad. Hercule takes advantage of this, and with a fierce dynamite kick, he almost knocks Raditz out of the ring. Bardock's there to cheer his son on and tell him to fight like a Saiyan. He is too strong for this weakling to beat him. As Raditz gets back up from the dynamite kick to the gut, along with the gut pain, he remembers the two fights that Piccolo had with Kakarot, and how, even though Kakarot was gravely wounded, he still fought, and he still won. This inspires the brother of Kakarot, and naturally, things go downhill for Hercule from there. It's a good fight because Raditz actually has to try in order to fight off the pain, but Raditz does get a knockout. Not a ring out, a knockout. After the fight, though, Raditz notifies the authorities that something was in that food he ate, and well, Hercule gets what he should have had from the beginning of the saga, as he's toted off by the police in order to be arrested for cheating and poisoning food. Naturally, the family is worried, but they're able to take Raditz and Miguel back to their home in order to let them rest before the next day's festivities at the Kakarot household. The next morning, Raditz arrives with his beloved and leaves with Bardock, Kakarot, and Gohan in order to go pick up Gine. Miguel deciding to stay behind in order to get to know Chi-Chi a little bit more. And also, this being her first child, she's nervous, so I'm sure they could bond over talking about that. They go to Baba's, and Bardock is ecstatic to see his wife walking out of the house, and Then running up to him, they have a big hug. It's a loving moment. And on the way back to Kakarot's home, they sense a really powerful power level coming out of a capsule corp ship that seemingly appeared out of nowhere. They decide to check it out and tell Gohan to stay next to his grandmother. They don't know what's gonna come out of this ship, so they have to be careful. After Nappa and Raditz's unexpected invasion, they have to be careful no matter what the ship is. The future warrior gets out. The young woman with a Saiyan tail and a sword stands before the group of Saiyans and locks eyes with Kakarot. Of course, that whole talk goes normally, and the other Saiyans are shocked when they sense Super Saiyan going off. Not only that, but during the little parlay like in the anime, Piccolo makes the scene. He sensed that energy, and so he's the one who hears, and Kakarot gets to know that this is Videl.
What, StevDeS? But Videl's not a Saiyan!
Yeah, but in this continuity, she is. She is the daughter of Raditz and Miguel. After testing Kakarot and letting him know about the androids, as well as giving him the medicine, she tells him not to tell Raditz or Miguel, otherwise she might not be born. When she says not to tell Raditz or Miguel about, what might happen between them, otherwise she might not be born, Kakarot just giggles a bit. He tells her that her mother already is Pargant, Pregant, Pegnate, Preganinant, Pregonate, Prengam, Pregante, Pregnant. So instead, Videl just stays a while. She's part of the party too, and she's happy to do some sparring with Raditz because once Raditz knows, he wants to know how strong his daughter ends up being in the future. I mean, it was pretty obvious with the Super Saiyan transformation, but, she doesn't turn into Super Saiyan just to make it a fair fight. Here, she gets some training from Raditz, Bardock, and Kakarot, so she's a little bit less green than future Trunks is. That evening, Videl takes her leave and returns in the time machine. She says goodbye to her family and leaves words of wisdom that Gohan, Raditz, and Bardock need to be Super Saiyans in order for anyone to survive. The next morning, unfortunately, Bardock has to say goodbye to his beloved, and he doesn't want to let her go. He does lead her back to Fortune Teller Baba's himself, and the rest of the family stays back. They know this is a solemn moment for him. When they arrive, Bardock says his goodbyes, and in the middle of a hug and kiss, Gine disappears, his arms just going through her. She's gone for good now. He just wishes that he had more time. And then he remembers the fate of Planet Vegeta. There's no way he could believe the lie that a meteor did it. He swears that he'll find whoever did do it and kill them. Avenge his fallen race and, more importantly, his wife. Because of this fit, Bardock does unlock Super Saiyan. He understands the pain of loss, having that last momentous happiness with his wife, and then all of it being gone. I think that would work for him. As far as Raditz is concerned, with him getting the Super Saiyan transformation, it's all set in stone. Miguel dies during child rearing, and when he tries to wish on the dragon to bring her back to life, it can't be done. This is a natural death. Then Raditz thinks about it, and thinks about the child, and just wishes that the child will grow up to be a strong warrior much like he was. Destiny isn't something that Raditz can really affect, but if it gets him out of there, Shenron grants the wish. After Shenron's gone, Raditz comes to the realization his wife's gone for good. Videl will not have a mother from this point forward. Videl's only a few months old, and to explain this, he now understands the pain of loss. And through Miguel's death, this is where Raditz unlocks Super Saiyan. Naturally, I imagine it would be something along the lines of a roar and slamming his fists on the ground to make a huge crater, similar to what Future Trunks did upon Gohan's death. With 3 Super Saiyans, Gohan training to become one, and the Z Fighters having been gathered, training on Kami's lookout, this is where this timeline will be closing for right now, just before the beginning of the Android saga. But I do have a poll for you. You see, Videl did in fact do the medicine. Give him the medicine, gave Kakarot the medicine. The heart virus. Is it Earthborn? This is one of those debates throughout the Dragon Ball fandom. Did Kakarot get the heart virus in space, or did he get it on Earth? There's a lot of arguments, considering Capsule Corp was able to make a vaccine, anything could be out in space. There are arguments for both sides, but I want to know what all of you think is the canon reason for Kakarot getting the heart virus. So, you tell me by voting in that poll above. For more what-ifs in the realm of video gaming and Dragon Ball alike, such as if we had Mr. Good Boy Boo as Kid Boo, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.